So there's a slow impeachment drip currently happening day by day in Congress, and I want to keep you updated on the number here. And also, this is MSNBC having a conversation about the issue a little deeper than that. Let's watch.
It's turning into one of the biggest political surprises of the summer, the growing movement to impeach President Trump. 41 more Democrats coming out in favor of impeachment since Mueller testified before Congress in July, bringing the total number of House members supporting an impeachment inquiry to 135. Just this week, after reports Trump offered to pardon aides if they had to break the law in order to speed up progress on a border wall, a top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee said that issue would be added to ongoing proceedings about whether to impeach Trump. Meanwhile, the slow burn of the growing impeachment caucus continues. One additional Democrat, Lori Trahan of Massachusetts, got behind a move toward impeachment after Mueller's testimony.
96 Democrats are calling for an impeachment inquiry.
98 House members back an impeachment inquiry. A surge of congressional Democrats.
The impeachment caucus is swelling to 108 members.
116 Democrats.
If you're counting, takes you up to 117 House Democrats. If one more Democrat comes out in favor, it's half of the caucus.
I feel we can no longer wait.
I feel compelled to call for an impeachment inquiry against President Trump.
I do not come to this decision lightly.
The American people deserve the truth.
A majority of House Democrats are now on record publicly supporting an impeachment inquiry. The number of Democrats supporting an impeachment inquiry now 124.
126.
NBC's count now up to 133 Democrats. That brings the number of House lawmakers backing impeachment to 135.
I'm joined now by Tennessee Congressman Steve Cohen, a member of the Judiciary Committee. It's good to see you, Congressman. You have supported impeachment since late 2017. Why do you think that now, almost 2 years later, so many of your colleagues are changing their minds?
The Democratic base is very much in favor of impeachment. The Mueller testimony really was eye-opening to some in that it showed clearly that 5 of the obstruction charges had all the constituent elements had been met, and that there were 10, and so arguably you had 10 obstructions, but 5, all the elements were met, and that there were over 100 contacts with Russia and the Trump campaign during the election. And while there might not have been a conspiracy, there was cooperation and welcome of the Russian involvement, and all those things together. But the Democratic base has made a lot of people come out to say they're for an inquiry. I'm all for an inquiry, and I'm pleased to see 135 people there. I think I was second or third in the Congress to come out for impeachment, not for a inquiry. Because I don't think, while it's important that we get the facts out there at hearings, and that's what we can have to really influence and show the public the need to impeach this man, there's no question he's committed innumerable impeachable offenses, and he should be impeached. We're beyond the stage of simply having an inquiry.
Yeah, but here's the thing, dude. You know that that's not going to happen. He's not going to be impeached in the sense that it's not going to get through the Senate. In order for impeachment to actually happen, in the sense that the way we colloquially use the term of impeachment is, in everybody's mind, it's like, oh, the president has to go. Like, we impeached him. He's gone. He's got to go. The only way that happens is if 2/3 of the Senate agrees. So you have this like trial-like thing that happens in the Senate, and then 2/3 of the Senate would have to agree, yeah, you know, he committed the crimes, he's got to go. The chances of that happening are 0%. 0. I'm not even giving it 0.1%. I'm not giving it 0.1%. I'm not giving it 0.01%. I'm not giving it 1%. It's a 0% chance it gets through the Senate. There's no chance at all. Not even close. So, since there's no way you're going to actually remove him from office, so what's the point here? You want to get it through the House. Now, is it possible you get it through the House? Yes, it is possible you get it through the House. Absolutely, you can get it through the House. But if you know it's going to die in the Senate, and you know that the headlines are going to say for 3 days straight, you know, Teflon Don wins impeachment in the Senate, and that gives him a round of good press and his poll numbers go up, as we know from previous examples like with Bill Clinton, well, I don't know why you would do that, because even though you don't think you're handing a gift to Trump, my argument to you is, no, it's it will be empirically proven that you indeed did give a gift to Trump if you go down the road that you want to go down. And I think that's what's a little frustrating for me in this conversation is that if you say they shouldn't impeach, it's painted as, oh my God, you're being soft on Trump or you're being pro-Trump. But in reality, the whole point of the argument I'm making is to say, oh my God, you're making a giant strategic error where you will actually help Trump. And I am so convinced of that. Because again, there's a 0% chance it gets through the Senate. It dies in the Senate, so Donald Trump will remain president. And then even the media organizations that don't like him are going to have to run the headlines and run the article saying Donald Trump survives impeachment in the Senate. So he's not going to have to step down. Not going to happen. So then what the fuck is the point? Again, what's the point then? What's the point? You get it through the House so you could pat yourselves on the back and then it dies? So you can get your day in the sun in the House, but then Trump gets a much bigger round of positive press later in the Senate that will help him and his poll numbers will shoot up. Don't act like that's not the likeliest scenario, because that is the likeliest scenario by a long shot. So it's just annoying that, like, in their anti-Trump fervor, they're not allowing the conversation about how it will unfold to even take place. It's just like mindless. I'm going to cover my ears. I'm going to act like Kyle just didn't make that point, didn't say that. And I'm going to pretend like it's the tough thing to do to just try to impeach him. Now, okay, putting aside this aspect of the conversation, and I could go on and on about this part forever, but putting it aside, let's talk about if they were to do impeachment, okay? So if they were to do impeachment, how should they do it? Well, my answer is basically the exact opposite of what they're doing now. The Democrats are so dumb, it's like, it's impossible to wrap your mind around how politically impotent they are. Because you can't have a situation like it is right now where it's like a slow drip of a few people every day, like, oh, okay, yeah, and by the way, note, they're not, a bunch of them are just saying impeachment inquiry, not saying impeachment. So it's just like, oh, let's all jerk each other off in a committee session and talk about how bad he is. Like, that's basically what that means. But if you were to do impeachment, you cannot do it where it's like a slow drip over time, and then eventually it's like 2 months from now, they're like, yeah, impeachment, let's do that. Because you would have to do it as soon as big news hits of a high crime or misdemeanor he committed. So, in other words, you would have to do it like as soon as he blocked, the move to stop arming Saudi Arabia as they're committing a genocide in Yemen. As soon as he blocked that, maybe everybody gets on the same page in the Senate, all the Democrats in the Senate, all the Democrats in the House, and you just hammer home over and over and over and over and over. Donald Trump took money from Saudi Arabia, hundreds of thousands of dollars at his hotel, and now he turns around and gives them money, gives them weapons, and then allows them to commit a genocide as we support them. Babies are dying in Yemen. Babies! So there's no, you can't have the thing that he did here. I forget his name, Cohen, Representative Cohen, whatever. You can't do what he did, which is like, oh, well, hey, there's obstruction, and then there's emoluments, and then there's this, and then there's that. You got to get one issue, all agree to it, hammer home on that one issue. You can't do the well, there's a little bit over here and a little bit over there. I'll give you specifics on none of them. I'll make an argument for none of them, and I'll just say amorphously, we need some sort of kind of impeachment. That's what we need. As terrible as the Republicans are, they know how to play politics. They know how to strategize. They know how to have a meeting with the entire caucus and get everybody on the same page and then go. And they all start hitting the same points. They know how to do that. The Democrats are just a fucking mess where it's every other day, a couple more for impeachment. They all have different reasons that they're giving for impeachment. And, when he even says, as he's arguing this president should be impeached, he even says, well, hey, the Russia thing, even though it, quote, wasn't a conspiracy, welcome the help, so, bad enough, and so we should probably impeach. So, no. You don't even sound convinced of the argument you're making. How do you expect anybody else to be convinced of it? You would all have to get on the same page. As soon as there's a big story that breaks, you know, if you were to go down the impeachment road, my argument would be the one I just made about, oh my God, Donald Trump just vetoed a measure to stop a genocide. Why? Because he's serving Saudi Arabia and doing whatever they want because he's taking money at his hotel from Saudi Arabia. That's a clear violation of the emoluments corruption clause in the Constitution, and it's leading to the deaths of children, of babies. So if you were to do impeachment, that's how you'd have to do it. As soon as a big story breaks on the worst issue for Trump, you take that, you all get on the same page, you hammer it home, you leave no room for misinterpretation or somebody not understanding exactly what you're fighting for, and then you drive it home and then you act, okay? And again, it's not going to get through the Senate, so I would advise the Democrats against doing this in the first place, but if you were to do it, that's how you have to do it. You can't have this every other day, a new person comes out and it's half the caucus, but of the people who are for impeachment, only half of them are really for impeachment, only some are for an impeachment inquiry only. It's not enough. And in the end, you're going to end up helping Trump. And that's the final point I'll make in this story, which is, dog, the election is like 7.5 minutes away. Do you really want to, like 2 months before the election, have a whole round of headlines of like Teflon Don survives again and beats impeachment in the Senate? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? If the Democrats, you want to know how you guarantee getting rid of Trump? I'll tell you. If all the Democrats get on board and agree, you know what? We're done with our milquetoast centrist corporatist nonsense. We're all going to fight for Medicare for all. We're all going to fight for free college and a living wage and a Green New Deal and legalizing marijuana and ending the wars. We're going to fight for all of these policies which help working people, which would fix this country. And we're all going to back Bernie Sanders. And we're all going to campaign and fight as hard as possible for Bernie and for that policy agenda. That's how you guarantee Donald Trump loses. But you're not going to do that because this is what I call resisting without resisting. It's so easy to pat yourself on the back and say, I did something good. I said Trump's bad and we should impeach in the House. And then we did that and then it died in the Senate and he got positive press and that's going to help him in his re-election campaign? Fuck. What have I done? So it's easy to just say like, oh yeah, he's so bad, impeach him. Really? What's the reason? Well, this person says obstruction. This person says Russia collusion. This person says maybe emoluments. This person says something else. This person doesn't even want impeachment. They just want the inquiry. You guys are all over the place, and you have no idea what you're doing politically. So I'm telling you, listen, even if you don't agree with me, the person listening to this, on the substance of what I'm talking about in terms of impeachment and whether or not we should do it, you have to agree that politically they're not going about it the right way. Which is why I wanted to have this conversation about if you were to do impeachment, this is how you'd have to go about it. And basically, it's the fundamental opposite of what they're doing with their slow drip of impeachment, and everybody's got different reasoning, and not everybody's really for impeachment. Some are for an impeachment inquiry, and the arguments are all over the place if they're even providing any arguments. It's just a mess, man. And this is not how you resist. This is not at all how you resist. And it's kind of embarrassing.